Hey badass, how's it going? So tell me, do you ever feel like you could do with a real change in your career? Something in your work life isn't quite working for you, but you end up getting so stressed and so overwhelmed just thinking about it that you end up staying where you are and telling yourself that you might as well just forget about it. Or can you relate to the feeling like knowing that you have more potential, more room for growth, more creativity inside of you to give, but you just don't know why you don't do anything about it? Or like you know that deep down you're in a job that's just not the right fit for you, it's not aligned with who you are, and maybe it never actually really was, but you just keep putting off anything that looks like taking action and moving away from where you currently are. In all of these situations, there's actually a really sneaky culprit to blame here, and it lives right here. Yep, 9 out of 10 times it is your very own brain that is keeping you stuck and sabotaging you from going after the life and career you actually want. So if you want to learn more about how this works and how you can take control of your own brain, then definitely keep on watching this video. All will become clear. So welcome back to the Badass Careers YouTube channel, which is all about designing a purpose-led career that you freaking love. And in this video, I'm going to give you a sneak peek as to the kind of things that my clients and I work through in the first modules of my coaching program, the Career Glow Up, and the kind of things they're learning about their brains so that they can stop sabotaging themselves and get out of their own damn way. So stick with me in this video and you're going to gain really valuable insights into how your brain works, the inner functionings, why it's holding you back, and how you can leverage that to regain control and move in the direction that you're wanting to with your career and your life. But just before I dive in, I did want to invite you to a free live masterclass that I am hosting at the end of this month. It's going to be epic. It's on 5 steps to finding your purpose and landing your dream job. I'm going to be there. It's going to be live. We're going to jam. There's going to be a Q&A session. It's going to be awesome. So if you can make it, sign up using the link in my description box down below, and I can't wait to see you there. So let's dive in and learn more about what's keeping us stuck in jobs that we don't even like that much, or maybe even hate. And to do so, firstly, we need to get to know our brains. What you need to know is that our brains are incredibly complex. There are over 86 billion neurons in there, firing away and making connections every minute of every day. And yet, in terms of how our brain actually functions and works, we haven't actually evolved that much since our days as a primate. So it means all of these 86 billion neurons are firing and wiring and working around one core principle, which is this: our brain's job is to keep us safe. It has evolved, its purpose is to keep us safe from threats, both physical and psychological. It wants to avoid pain and any perceived threat to our well-being, our safety, our lives. So how that all relates to career change, I am going to get into, but here are a few key things you really, really need to know. 1, our brain is hardwired for survival and has a very heavy threat bias. What I mean by this is that, yes, although brains do like to seek out pleasure and things that are nice and fun and good for us and all of that kind of thing, if it sees a lion running towards us, everything will shut down. That's where our energy goes, because we need to survive. At the end of the day, the most critical thing is that we survive. And so believe me when I tell you, our brain does not want us to change. In fact, it's pretty darn happy if we stay exactly where we are, because at least what you're doing right now is keeping you alive. For your brain, it doesn't matter that your work may not be fulfilling or meaningful or creative or expressive. By doing what you're currently doing today in the status quo, in your comfort zone, you're alive. You've got that at least. And so your brain would much, much rather that you stay here doing what you're doing the same old thing every day, rather than venture into the unknown where there are potential threats to your safety. The second thing you need to know about our brains is, because of this, it is constantly scanning for physical and psychological threats. It's like there's a radar in our brain looking for all of the things that could go wrong, all of the things that could hurt us, all of the ways that we might feel pain, psychological or physical, but it actually does a really crappy job of being able to differentiate between what's real and what we're just telling ourselves. So your inner voice, your inner critic, the things that you're telling yourself, the brain takes that to be true, and it actually can't differentiate between something you tell yourself and if you've got like an external person telling you a message. You'll actually receive that in your brain just like you will the thoughts that are going on inside your own head. And we will touch on this a little bit later, but it's really, really important, the things that you're telling yourself about what's possible for you, your career, the job market right now, and all of these thoughts and stories that are going through your mind, the brain just takes it as fact. It doesn't have a bullshit filter. And the third thing you need to know about our hardly evolved brain is that it's fundamentally designed to react more powerfully to a threat than it is a reward. So very, very few rewards could ever outweigh the gravity of a threat. I mean, you guys must have noticed that our brains has a major negativity bias. Think about when you receive feedback, right? Someone could tell you 5 positive things, but it just takes one criticism, one negative piece of feedback, and zoom, it's all we can focus on. It's all we hear. Everything else kind of shuts down. Now, all of this information about the brain is really important to understand when you're going through something like a career change or even thinking about it. Because when you're going through a major event, and it is quite a major event, right? Changing a career, changing your environment, changing the colleagues, changing potentially financial rewards, geography, all sorts of things. There can be loads of very scary emotions and perceived threats. The biggest one of all is fear of failure. What if it doesn't work? What if I look like an embarrassment? What if I try and I fail? We've got fear of rejection. That one's huge. The pain you feel when you get rejected. Humans are very much in-group, out-group animals, which means we like to be accepted by our people, by a tribe, by a community. And so when you're getting those no's, and those doors shutting in your face during a job hunt, it's physically painful. The same areas of your brain light up as if you've hurt yourself physically. And of course, there's the fear around putting yourself out there, maybe networking, maybe connecting to people, maybe starting conversations with people who you perceive to be up on a pedestal or out of your reach. All of these emotions and all of these fears, and I haven't even started on the stories you're telling yourself, the thoughts, the beliefs you have about your own abilities, about your confidence, about all of those things. It's a very, very trying time psychologically. And so what all of these fears and negative emotions are doing is triggering the threat response inside our brain. And this is bringing out old habits and old patterns of behavior, basically from the Stone Ages. Fight, flight, or freeze. These are the main options we have when we have a lion, when we have a threat running towards us, charging towards us, going to eat us. It's fight, flight, or freeze. And this is really vital to understand because remember that threat nowadays can be psychological and it can be perceived as well. So have you ever found yourself feeling overwhelmed, feeling stuck, feeling physically unable to move forward even if you really, really want something? Here you're probably in a freeze state psychologically in a response to a deep-rooted fear. Again, the big ones, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of judgment. So you're saying, I'd really love to change careers, something that moves away from all of these numbers and data analysis and something a lot more creative and expressive that would just feel so much more like me. And your brain is saying, I'm not sure that's safe. Here's another example. Have you ever found yourself procrastinating and putting something off even though you really, really want it? Like maybe you really do want to change jobs. Maybe you really do want to start that side hustle or that business because you want more freedom and options in your life. You know at a conscious level, you know you want it, but you just keep procrastinating. This is another example. Here, you're in flight mode. You're running away and avoiding taking action on what your brain perceives to be a risk. So how does this all show up when you want to change careers? You want to get out of that job, but you're just feeling stuck. Firstly, here are some signs. Your brain is a real smooth talker. It knows exactly what to tell you to keep you exactly where you are. Remember, it's not a complete a-hole. It wants to keep you safe. It wants to keep you comfortable and alive. We've got to acknowledge it and thank it for that. But here are some of the thoughts and fears and doubts and stories your brain might have been spinning in your mind. Let me know if you can relate to any of these. So your brain's going to tell you things like, oh, there's no activity happening right now. The job market's dead. It'd be so much better to wait until the end of 2020. 2020 is just a write-off. We might as well just start in 2021. Oh, I'm lucky, really. I should be grateful that I even have a job. I feel guilty about even thinking about wanting something else. There are people out there who don't even have a job. I've already invested so much money and time into this career path. I might as well see it out. But what if I do change and it's just as bad or even worse? I mean, the grass is always greener, right? Oh, I don't have the traditional background. Like, I'm not qualified enough to stand out compared to the other candidates anyway. I mean, purpose and meaningful work is all great in theory, but it never pays as well. I just need to wait to see if insert the blank here happens, and then I'll have more information, and then I'll be able to make a decision. I'm just so busy at the moment. How would I ever find the time? My parents/friends/partner wouldn't really understand. I just have to wait until that next project is done, because it's this huge project that's coming up, and if I left now, the team would absolutely hate me, and yeah, it would just be so much better to, when I can change roles, when there's literally zero to do at work, when we have nothing on, no projects coming up or anything. That would be the perfect time to change. So maybe you can relate to some of these stories that you tell yourself, right? That's keeping you stuck in the job that you don't even like that much. And of course, most of the time, these are just thoughts, fears, stories that your brain is telling you to keep you where you are. And most importantly, keep you going after what you really want, because that involves work and potential failure and potential rejection and potentially putting yourself out there and doing scary things that might hurt, And that's fair enough. But when your brain doesn't have the same agenda as you do, it can make it really hard. So again, even consciously, you're like, that's what I want. I'm sure of it. I want to make a change. I want to take my career to the next level. I want to do something different. And your brain subconsciously is working away, backpedaling, like, no. And the major problem with these kinds of thoughts is that it starts like this. If you can imagine a triangle, we've got thoughts and beliefs at the top, we've got actions here, and then we've got results. So your thoughts inform your actions, which inform your results that you get in this life. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So if you're thinking, oh, competition is crazy right now. Even if I went for something, I'd never get a job. It's just absolutely saturated. There's definitely no hope for me, basically. Firstly, your brain is going to seek out evidence for that to be true. When you have a thought or belief, your brain always wants to make you think that you're right. It's exactly the same part of the brain as, if you buy a red car and then suddenly you look around and everywhere you go, there are red cars everywhere. It's exactly the same part of the brain. When you believe that the job market is saturated, your interest will peak and you will notice and pay attention to the news headlines that say the same thing, conversations happening around you that say the same thing. You're not going to listen to me, who I'm telling you that my clients are getting multiple job offers and there is a lot of activity happening on the market right now, because that won't align with your initial thought or belief, okay? So firstly, there's that. So you've got your thought or belief, and then you go down to the action that you take, that your behaviors. So your behavior and the actions you take are going to be always aligned with your thoughts and beliefs. And so what it will mean is that you will show up in a way that's aligned to that thought, which is, hey, it's so competitive out there, I'm never going to get a job anyway, which means you're not going to put your full amount of effort in. You're not going to go 110%. You might either not apply at all. You might look at the job and be like, oh my God, 800 applicants, it's over, and not apply at all. Or you might just put something together quickly because you're like, what are the chances anyway? And just send that in. And then of course the result is that you don't get the job, and then it reinforces that initial thought or belief that you had. And so that thought or belief you have up the top is going to create your reality. Now, if your belief was, it's competitive right now, but I have the passion and the hunger to stand out and I'm gonna do it. If that was your thought, maybe your action and results would be like, okay, how am I going to stand out? Maybe you're going to network. Maybe you're going to create relationships with the people at the company before you send the application in to get an internal referral. Maybe you're going to create a value validation project. So maybe a slide deck or a one-pager that goes alongside your application. Maybe you'll do a video pitch. Maybe you'll go 20-30% harder than the other applicants because you've got the passion and determination to make this work. and then you'll probably get called in for the interview. So again, if we approach exactly the same situation with a different way of thinking, we will get different results. So if you leave this video with anything, it's that it's time for you to upgrade your way of thinking and the way that you see your situation and the world and what's possible for you and what the job market's doing right now, and really smash through all of those fears and limiting beliefs and thoughts that are holding you back and not serving you. And the first thing you can do is raise your awareness. You're doing it right now by watching this video. And I want you to implement this framework every time a fear or a doubt or a negative thought comes through your mind. It's catch, challenge, change. So I want you to catch the thought or the belief. I'm not good enough. I'm not qualified enough. The job market's too competitive. I probably won't get paid as much. So I want you to catch them in your tracks. I want you to notice them. I'd love you to journal them out. I'd love you to write down on a piece of paper what you want. I want to change from HR to marketing. And then I want you to listen to yourself and think about all of the thoughts and the beliefs that the shitty committee in your head is telling you. You can't do that. Who are you to think you could do that? Here's a problem. Here's a barrier. Here's something that I want you to stay stuck on. So I want you to write down all the things that are going on in your mind right now. The next step is challenge. I want you to challenge these beliefs. Are they true? Are they based on fact? Would it stand up with that belief, with that thought? Would it stand up in a court of law? If you had a jury judging you and you had to prove that it was the absolute truth beyond reasonable doubt, would it stack up? And sometimes it can be something true, like, well, I've never done marketing before. That's true. But does it have to mean that you can never do it and it's not possible for you, and that no one in the history of planet Earth has ever pivoted from HR to marketing? Not sure. And once you've challenged them, I want you to change them. I want you to rewrite a new belief that would actually serve you. For example, if your belief is, I'm in HR, I want to go to marketing, but I'm not qualified in marketing and I've never worked in it, so it's not going to be possible for me. So you've caught it, you've challenged it. Is that true? Well, there probably are people who have changed from HR to marketing without having to go back to study and without taking a pay cut. I'm sure it's probably happened. And so your new belief is going to be whatever feels right for you. But if that were me, it would be, with the right amount of dedication and groundwork, it is absolutely possible to change from HR to marketing, even without a qualification. This kind of mindset work is really essential to finding success in all areas of your life, but especially in times with high stakes and high amounts of change, like when you're going for a career change. But once you've got it, and once you've got it down and you get into that habit of working on it all the time and challenging those beliefs, honestly, it is the key to a much more successful and meaningful life. It's something that all successful people have in common, is they've really honed in on that mindset work. And once you can harness that incredible powerhouse that is your mind and have it working for you, not against you, you'll honestly be unstoppable. It's kind of like the Marie Kondo of mindset work, right? Does this thought spark joy? And if not, what are we going to do about it? I would so love for you guys to share with me your biggest learnings or takeaways or light bulb moments from this video. Let me know down in the comments below. And otherwise, don't forget to check out the description box, because I'll have the link to my live masterclass. It's completely free, 5 steps to finding your purpose and landing your dream job. I can't wait to see you there. And until next time, stay badass, and I will catch you in the next video. Ciao!